Ha guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors hit with devastating injury news amid hot start. The Golden State Warriors announced on November 14 that starting guard Anthony Melton has a sprained left ACL and will undergo further tests. Melton started the last two games at shooting guard, with the Warriors winning both games against their Western Conference rivals Dallas Mavericks and Oklahoma City Thunder. In those two wins, Melton averaged 16.5 points on 47.8% shooting, with 7.0 rebounds, 3.0 assists and 2.0 steals as the perfect complementary to Stephen Curry in the Warriors starting back at the 6'3". Melton also made 73 pointers during that stretch. It's disappointing, Case said per NBC Sports Bay Area after their November 14 practice. That was really the perfect mix. Anthony does a little bit of everything on ball defense, rebounding, three-point shooting, playmaking. It was great fit, and that's why we targeted him. The fact that he's going to be out the next game is a bummer. We were finding some momentum. We'll see how this unfolds. We've got options, we've got a lot of depth, and we were very capable of filling in, but it's very disappointing for him and for us. KI has yet to make up his mind on who will take over Melton's spot in the starting lineup. Previously, Kerr has rotated Moses Moody, Gary Payton II next to Curry in the starting lineup. He also inserted Brandon Bodsme when Curry missed time. The Warriors face a short-handed Memphis Grizzlies team on Friday, November 15 in an NBA Emirates Cup matchup at home. The Grizzlies have been starting Scottie Pippen Jr. and Jalen Wells in the backcourt, with John Morant right hip subluxation and pelvic muscle strains and Desmond Bane oblique strain sidelined Melton's injury through a wrenching. Kerr's plan to establish his starting lineup following their 127-116 went over the Thunder, in which Melton had a double-double, 19 points and 10 rebounds with 3 steals and 2 assists. KR declared he plans to keep the guard as their starter next to Curry in their backcourt. I would like for that starting group that was out there tonight, I would like for that group to be our group going forward, Kerr told reporters. JK has shown how important he is to us off the bench. He seems to really fit into that role well. We're looking for really good defense to start the game, and that lineup gives us 2 on-ball defenders with Wiggs and Melton, then 2 bigs with Draymond and Tracy. I think we'll stay with it and see how it goes. Curry gives his stamp of approval on Melton starting next to him after their huge win over the Thunder. It's exactly kind of what you expected, Curry said on NBC Sports Bay Area Warriors post-game live show. He's been around the block. He's a gamer. When we played against them when he was in Memphis and we were in the 2022 playoff series, he was a difference maker on both ends of the floor. Tonight the third quarter was huge. He was hitting big threes, playing great defense. K highlighted Melton's two-way skill set as the main reason he won. To keep him in the starting lineup, I think it gives us a really good two-way lineup, Kerr told reporters. You saw what Melton could do at both ends. He's a really good passer, an excellent three-point shooter, and a really good on-ball defender as well. Melton in the starting lineup is something we've talked about a lot in camp and here in the early going. Really liked it. I think it makes a lot of sense for us. Warriors skyrocket price on former Untouchable guard after hot start. The Golden State Warriors are the talk of the NBA town for their sizzling 10-2 start to the 2024-25 NBA season. However, their talented second-year guard won't become the talk of the trade block anytime soon. According to ESPN's Tim Bontemps and Brian Windor, the Warriors will likely listen to teams interested in star guard Brandon P, but not without attaching a hefty asking price to his name. Hat tip. Bleacher reports Eric Beast and league executives are well aware that Bodzimski is well liked by LeCab and Abar. To get him out of Golden State, Ains very high. Windor reported Podzimski has settled into a bench role by and large this season. Nevertheless, the 21-year-old is averaging 8.5 points and 4.8 rebounds, with a 3.5 to 1.4 assist to turnover ratio on the campaign. His three-point shooting is way down from a season ago, where he's now converting 20% of his looks compared to the 38.5% he was knocking down in 2023-24. Most recently Podziemski wed the NBA world with an unreal half-court behind-the-back pass on the money to Jonathan Kaminger for a fast-break dunk in Golden State's 123-18 win over the Memphis Grizzlies on November 15. He has a polished offensive game beyond his years. The Wisconsin native's playmaking ability offers a measurable upside for a Warriors team meeting a starter burgeon after Klay Thompson's departure. That being said, the Dubs clearly have a championship framework in place, albeit that does not negate their need for another marquee superstar to down the likes of the defending champion Boston Celtics and Western Conference powerhouses. In the playoffs, if they truly want to win a fifth championship in the Stephen Curry-Draymond Green era, they may need to parlay some of their most attractive young assets to make a major upgrade that just won't be Podziemski who they end becoming a star in the league, not unless they get a haul in return. Warriors swap former top 10 picks in compelling trade pitch with East playoff team. The Golden State Warriors have remained patient with Jonathan Kaminger through his career to date, clearly holding belief in his talent and potential even if they weren't willing to meet his demands from a financial standpoint prior to the October 21st extension deadline. Kinger's stature as an impending free agent does leave him as a potential trade candidate ahead of the February 6th deadline, but most believe the Warriors still won't move the 22-year-old for anything less than a bona fide all-star in return. The idea of Golden State trading Kaminger for another young player is one scarcely mentioned, yet that's just what Colin Keane of the Sporting News has done in a recent proposal involving the Indiana Pacers. According to Keane, the Warriors and Pacers could orchestrate a deal involving Kaminger and young guard Bennedict Mathurin, with a first-round pick also heading Indiana's way in the process. One would think that Indiana Pacers shooting guard Bennedict Mathurin is considered almost untouchable by Indiana's front office, but the Warriors might be able to tempt the Pacers by dangling Jonathan Kaminger expiring contract and a first-round pick in front of them. Keane wrote after an injury cut short his 2023-24 that included the entirety of Indiana's run to the Eastern Conference Finals. Math has made a strong start to this campaign in averaging 18.8 points and 6.4 rebounds on an impressive 52.1% shooting from the floor and 43.5% from three-point range. It's unlikely that Indiana would be interested in a Mathurin for Kaminger swap, but it is worth noting that the Pacers did previously have interest in the Golden State forward. According to The Athletic's Anthony S.L. Ater on a recent episode of the Warriors Plus Minus podcast, from a Warrior perspective it would make some sense to swap the 7th pick from 2021 for the 6th pick in 2022, giving them over a year to have a look at Mathurin before having to decide whether or not to pay him big dollars. They could also extend him ahead of next season, as they chose not to with Kaminger. Mathurin may be the better player right now, but Kaminger brings a more unique skill set that Golden State otherwise lacks in terms of athleticism and dominance at the rim. Mathurin is athletic in his own right, but he's a shooting guard SL small forward, of which the Warriors are already stocked with on the current roster. It's an intriguing deal for both teams, yet one where they may ultimately both say no. Both teams could be active ahead of the trade deadline, particularly if the Pacers' underwhelming start continues as their 5-7 through 12 games. And you fan, what do you think of the situation of Bennedict Mathurin? Leave your opinion in the comments.